Hi everyone, Miss Houchins and McRib here. Hope you are doing well and staying safe and staying at home. Today we're going to talk about weather instruments and cloud types. So let's get started. All right, starting with weather instruments or weather tools. A barometer is an instrument that measures the air pressure. You can see on our picture, the lower the air pressure, the worse the weather. So you can think of low pressure and lousy weather. High pressure, on the other hand, over here on the very dry side, is happy weather. So low pressure, lousy weather, high pressure, happy weather. An anemometer. An anemometer is an instrument that measures wind speed, so how fast the wind is blowing. You can see that the anemometer has the cups, and the faster the cups are spinning, the faster the wind is blowing. So I happen to have an anemometer here, and if I were using this anemometer to calculate wind speed, I will be paying attention to this red cup here. So however fast my anemometer is moving, that is how fast the wind is blowing. A weather vane. A weather vane is an instrument that is used to tell the wind direction. So you notice on the weather vane you have north, east, south, and west. That's telling you the direction that the wind is blowing. Most of the time you'll see these weather vanes on top of barns, as farmers used to use these in order to tell which direction the wind was blowing. A rain gauge is an instrument that is used to measure precipitation. So you set these outside when it rains and you check and see how much precipitation has fallen. You can use a rain gauge to measure not only rain, but you can also use it to measure snow. A thermometer, one that we are all familiar with. That is an instrument that is used to measure temperature. So sometimes you have thermometers like on the screen, and sometimes you have thermometers like the one I have here that tell the digital thermometer that tells you the temperature inside and outside. A hygrometer. A hygrometer is an instrument that measures humidity, and humidity is the amount of moisture that's in the air. So when you go outside and it feels really sticky and really gross, that means that it's really humid. There's a lot of moisture in the air. So the higher the humidity, the more moisture is in the air. So when it rains, there's more moisture in the air. It's going to be more humid after it rains. A weather balloon. A weather balloon is an instrument that is used to be sent high up into the atmosphere, and it brings back all sorts of information: the air pressure, the temperature, humidity, wind speed. And these weather balloons are set off all around the country every single day. A windsock is used at airports to determine the wind speed and also the direction. So whichever the direction the windsock is pointing in, that's the direction the wind's coming from. And however fast it's flapping, that is the wind speed. This is used to help planes land. Also helicopters at hospitals use these as well. And then of course meteorologists. Meteorologists are scientists that studies weather. And now you can go to Kahoot and put in this PIN number right here and play a game of Kahoot to test your knowledge on weather instruments. So pause the video, play the Kahoot game, then come on back. The next thing we're going to talk about are clouds. And clouds help us also to determine the weather. They're also used by a variety of different people to help predict the weather. So starting with how clouds are formed. Now, water vapor. Remember when we talked about the water cycle and how the water vapor, the water has to be heated by the sun, and that turns it into vapor. Then the vapor, or the water evaporates, turns into water vapor. As it rises up into the atmosphere, it's going to get cooler. because remember, the higher you go in the atmosphere, the cooler that it gets. And then that water vapor is going to condense into water droplets. And those water droplets hook onto dust particles in the atmosphere, and that is what creates the clouds. Now, depending on the altitude or how high the cloud is in the sky will depend on the different type of cloud. So here we have a picture showing us all different types of clouds. You can see that some are close to the ground down here, whereas others are way high up into the atmosphere. So, starting with the lowest level cloud is a stratus cloud. And stratus is low altitude, so it is low to the ground. It reminds us of blankets, so it's like spread out all across the sky. And sometimes it can bring light snow or rain depending on the type or depending on the time of year. So when we say that it's overcast outside, it's not really sunny, it's really cloudy. That means that there's stratus clouds all throughout the atmosphere. You also have nimbostratus. Anytime you see the prefix nimbo, nimbo means rain. So nimbostratus are gray. Since they're stratus, they're also low altitudes, kind of like blanket light, and they'll bring that steady rain or snow. So where it's raining constantly or snowing constantly, that will be your nimbostratus clouds. Now, fun fact, we have all walked through a cloud. Fog is a low-level stratus cloud that is close to Earth's surface. So if you've walked through fog, you've walked through a cloud. Moving higher up into the atmosphere, you have the cumulus clouds. The cumulus clouds are those puffy clouds that we see on those beautiful days. They have flat bases and they have kind of towering tops. So they look like cotton balls. You want to imagine going outside and laying in the grass and looking up at the sky and finding those different shapes in the clouds. Normally we use cumulus clouds for that. Cumulus clouds normally bring fair weather. So when it's really nice outside is when we see those cumulus clouds. However, when we have those cumulonimbus clouds, now remember from before, nimbo or nimbus means rain. So cumulonimbus clouds, they have those flat bases and the towering tops. Those are those really, really big clouds, dark clouds. Those bring those thunderstorms, rain, hail, and sometimes tornadoes. Cirrus clouds, going higher up into the atmosphere. Cirrus clouds are those really high altitude clouds, and they're often stretched because of the wind that high up in the atmosphere. So sometimes they're described as thin and wispy. Cirrus clouds means that there is a change in weather that is going to be happening soon. Cirrus clouds can indicate rain coming, or it can indicate worse weather coming. And because these cirrus clouds are high up in the atmosphere, remember the higher in the atmosphere you go, the cooler it gets. Most of the time these cirrus clouds are made of ice crystals. All right, time for another Kahoot. So pause the video, play the Kahoot. The pen is right here on the screen. And when you're done, come back. All right, I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson talking about weather instruments and clouds. Remember, if you have any questions, reach out to your teachers. See you later.